What's up, Hammers and Hammets? Good to see you guys. Or actually, good to...
First time I heard that one. Hammers and Hammets.
Hammers and Hammets.
Yeah, you.
Oh, it's a good day today. We got someone very special. Someone I deeply respect. He's been on social media. He's been killing it. I still remember, like, you have, like, a huge following now, but I even remember... Even like
there's early stages
before you even reach 10,000 followers. You know what I mean? And I was thinking, wow, like just seeing the evolution of your videos and even the evolution of your community, it's been growing and it's amazing and super happy for you.
It's been a blessing, bro.
Yeah,
Thank you, bro.
it's huge, and I'm blessed to have you on today. So
hey, bro, it's good to have. Hey, bro, it's good to be here, bro. Yeah, you.
So please give a round of applause to the co-founder of Awaken Aloha, Mr. Son of Oahu, Elijah Kala McShane.
Hey, aloha mai kako, aloha mai kako. Yeah, it's kala. You know, a lot of people in my life, you know, because just because of the history of Hawaiian language, different stuff. You know, people have had a difficult time having understanding even how to pronounce a simple word as kala, but it's the kahako, you know. So adding the kahako on the last A, I think it's so important, because if not, then it's kala like the fish, or like the kala crayon, or has like the kala, which is money. You know, so I'm kala. It's the sun, which, you know, I think it's a prophetic thing with having a name like that, because the importance of the sun is to give life, you know. It's to give mana, it's to give light. And all of that is encapsulated in the spirit of Aloha and what it means to be Hawaiian, you know. And so, yeah, just living like that. But plenty of people, they couldn't pronounce it, like, early on in my life. So I went out of high school and I started introducing myself as Elijah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I, you know.
The prophet.
Yeah, you know, which like, is another prophetic name, you know. And so, but I tell people now, I get indicator of how I know you, because when you call me Kala, I know you from before high school, and if you call me Elijah, I know you after high school. So BC and AD. Yeah, you.
And they call you Kahukala.
Yeah. Or Kumukala. You know, I try to stay away from all the labels because of important reasons, you know. You know, because who you are isn't the label they put on you, you know. And so, like, you have to be careful on how you choose to identify yourself to the public, because if you identify yourself in that manner and you get too encapsulated in the label, then you can lose yourself in the label, and then it becomes a trap to who you are. So I just kala, bro. You know, I just do the stuff that I gotta do for things in our brand. You know, people see me around and say, "Hey, it's the son of Oahu." You know, it's just a brand thing.
Yeah.
You know, but Elijah Kala McShane.
I mean, same thing like mine. Kampai. People still call me Kampai.
Yeah, still,
which is interesting.
Yeah.
But that's just a brand name.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's just brand stuff, Brian. So
Sugai is actually my real last name.
Oh, yeah, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Which means what?
So I actually really don't know, because we think that the name actually was changed after the first generation came here, right? They were actually plantation workers. And then I think they actually changed their name to Sugai, because we have some friends from Japan and they don't even know what that means.
Wow.
So it's interesting how that came about, because I think there's like 6 Sugai families here in Hawaii. And I've been actually meeting some of them during this year.
Wow.
Which is kind of interesting.
And it has to have, like, you know, it could be that you know, how even people in Hawaii, Olelo Hawaii, there is like specific idioms that is only used in particular places, moku ahupua, and so it could be a thing that it's only people in provinces who had an understanding of what it meant, you know, and then those people came over here, and so the other people, you know, who kind of stay in bigger areas in Japan, they don't really know. Yeah, so I mean, it could be something like that.
That's true, because honestly, the Sugai name, especially like if they came here, maybe when, you know, they were plantation workers and they were being called by their last name, there was a mispronunciation, so maybe they went with Sugai.
Yeah.
Versus, I'm not really
Yeah,
sure.
just kind of, you know.
Maybe there was a T, like Sugai. You know what I mean?
True that.
So.
And it's what it is to also be Hawaii, right? Because like things in Hawaii is like our people have always been such an inclusive people, and we're excellent at adapting. We're so good at adapting that everybody brings stuff to Hawaii, and then the people of Hawaii like incubate it, and then we introduce a product that is a mix between both, but then it becomes inherently Hawaiian.
Yeah.
So potentially Sugai is one Hawaiian name.
That's
true. Yeah, I love it.
Well, I took well, actually, I shouldn't say that. I took a 21andMe or 23andMe thing,
Okay.
and then I have 1% African American.
Oh, nice.
Or
Where?
I don't know. It's just 1%. I think it's the Filipino side. I'm half Filipino. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
From where?
My mom's side.
Oh, nice. Ilocano, Tagalog.
Ilocano.
Ilocos Norte.
Yes.
Ilocos, huh? Mean.
So it's interesting.
I've been to Philippines, but Philippines good.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. But I've been Philippines, but
How many times did you go?
I went one time for like 2 weeks.
Okay.
This is like 2016. I went over there.
Oh, okay.
Solid, bro. You know, a different aina, but all places special, bro. The people, like super close to Hawaii. I grew up around Filipinos because I grew up Kaneohe and Papukolea, but I lived pretty much for 18 years of my life. I actually live in, had spent 18 years of my life in the heart of Waipahu. And so I live all my life Waipahu. So I grew up around all Filipinos, Polynesians, and, you know, and then I had a past relationship, pure Filipino. A past relationship, I was in a relationship for a long time. She grew up Kalihi Valley.
Okay.
So I was always involved in Filipino culture for a lot of my life.
Big families.
Yeah, big family.
Big parties.
Yeah, fun. But,
yeah.
a bagoong. Bag a little bit nuts. Diniguan. Easy on the arteries. Easy on the arteries. Yeah, you.
Yeah, the adobo.
Yeah, you gotta watch out the oil, bro.
Yeah, you gotta watch.
But hey, bro, these buggers still living so long, bro. These old tutukanis, bro. Hey, these guys having babies when they're 90. Bro, the kickstand must be strong.
So I credit that to like my grandma, right? My grandma worked 3 jobs. She had 8 children.
Wow.
Single mother.
Wow.
Right. So I'm thinking, you know, that
a hardworking mana.
That culture is hardworking.
Hardworking mana.
And you think about a lot of the families that come here from the Philippines, they're coming here for opportunity and really to grow and the culture of that is they bring some of the money back from what they make here.
Yes, back there. Yeah.
So if anything, the mentality is they really work hard and
you
know, try to represent their family in a good light. So.
Yes. No, bro, I 100% agree. You know, there is a little bit of thing, you know, a little bit of confusion in the process that can also be had because people who are coming to Hawaii now, they're coming to Hawaii because of the American dream.
Yeah.
And then if you come to Hawaii in this understanding that it's the American dream in the United States of America, and then you don't learn anything about Hawaii and Hawaiian, and then you build a life here, you give thanks to America, then you defend America. Instead of defending the truth of Hawaii, right? And so that's positives and negatives to everything. But if people come into Hawaii, I just always encourage people to learn Hawaii and don't learn the American view of Hawaii. You can consider the American view. You know, it's gonna be in schools anyway.
Right.
You know, but understanding, integrating, and then living Hawaii is much different.
Yeah, much different.
Yeah.
Just because, the mentality is different.
Yes.
And I think that's where it begins. It stems from, especially for people coming to, even if they're visiting, they're tourists. It's the mentality of where you're going, where you're coming from, and where you're going to.
Yeah, bro, it's perspective and worldview, which comes down to like principles and values that is inherent in culture, right? And so it's like to get understanding, like how I learned in studies, you know, things in anthropology, you know, things spiritual history, is you get an understanding of the people as a collective community through understanding the cultural values that is embedded in the practice, reinforced in practice. And so if you have people that lived all their life in the culture of the USA, which doesn't have culture, it's cultureless.
Yeah.
It's a melting pot of different cultures, which they quote unquote kind of stole from Hawaii because we were the first melting pot. You know, and this understanding of integrating many cultures, a lot of immigrants they actually lose home culture if they're not practicing it and reinforcing it in the household. Because the educational system is not going to encourage the practicing of culture. Private institutions, maybe yes. Yeah, the charter schools and Hawaiian immersion schools, Spanish immersion schools. You know, they have the culture being put into the school system as the infrastructure and framework to teach by. But if that's not there, then the cultural values inherently, bless you, then all the cultural values inherently is not going to be integrated into curriculum, which then leads to people having intellect, but not really having full intelligence of who they are. You know.
Do you think that, so kind of going with history a little bit, right? So 1896 is when Olelo Hawaii was banned, right? Do you think that if, you know, and then it didn't get reintroduced until decades later, but if it wasn't banned from that year, do you think that people would be more aware of culture in Hawaii?
Yeah, I think it's a given, you know, and, you know, to also put this out there, I didn't grow up in a household speaking Olelo Makuahine, you know, and even today, I'm still learning. It's a process if people hadn't had the chance to speak Olelo Hawaii in the hale, in the ohana, and then to relearn in their adulthood. I can understand perfectly, you know, I can go in conversation, but in answering the question, I think it's a given because the cultural consciousness is in Olelo Hawaii.
Right.
To also preface that the kind of Olelo Hawaii spoken today is not the Olelo Hawaii of our kupuna. Not the same Olelo Hawaii. It is Americanized Olelo Hawaii, even in how it's spoken. And so if you see like teachers in our generation, bless you, teachers in our generation, they're putting a lot more emphasis in how Olelo Hawaii is spoken instead of it being a pala pala language, you know, that is easy to read, easy to write, and then you can talk in conversation, but then it doesn't sound Hawaiian. It still sounds like English in a different language because it's Americanized.
Colonized.
Yeah, you know, it still has it's too beautiful sometimes. Yeah, when hearing each of our kupuna talk, it's really, really raw. It's raw. It's fast. It's fluid. It has a whole different expression to it that is not in the.
Yeah, it's a different feeling.
Yeah, it's a different mana.
Yeah.
Which actually is the mana that is of our kupuna. And so if you really want to, like, that's part of the reason why I think a lot of Kanaka haven't explored speaking Olelo Hawaii potentially because, like, they're, you know, this is just a thought to put in there, potentially our kupuna in the mana of these Kanaka who haven't learned yet is not connected to the sound of the Olelo Hawaii today. Potentially, if those Kanaka heard the Olelo Hawaii of yesterday, it'll inspire them to be like, wait, that's the language of my kupuna, because they're going to feel them. Yeah, they're going to feel them, And it's not going to be an intellectual battle because a lot of Hawaiian community has challenges because it's an intellectual battle. Like, you know, in Hawaiian spaces, a lot of our people a little bit shame sometimes to talk or a little bit shame to speak on subjects because if you don't know, then people gonna make sure you don't know. You know, and so it's
and there's judgment, behind
a little bit of judgment behind it, so uncomfortable. And so, you know, it's not easy to be Kanaka who is ho'ala, who is in the process of enlightenment and reawakening to themselves. It's not an easy process. you know.
Do you think that a lot of the school system, like in early elementary schools, do you think they push Olelo Hawaii a lot more there, or
Well,
or enough, or do you think they
it's
should push more?
definitely happening. If you look back just 30 years ago, the amplification of Hawaiian education, Hawaiian immersion education, Hawaiian language education, 180-degree turn, dog. You know, there are. So, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong in terms of the statistics, but in the 80s and 90s, there was like 3,000 to 5,000 people speaking Hawaiian.
Wow.
And today, I mean, like, has over 50,000 people speaking Hawaiian. That's literally because of the educational school system, because there is infrastructure to put your children in. So that once your children learn it at a very young age, it's hard to not
unlearn it.
unlearn it. Yeah, it's hard to unlearn after, because it's embedded in your consciousness, which is a part of the process. So I'm seeing, like, in the past 30 years, in the next 30 years, there's gonna be a even bigger population of Kanaka, not only speaking, but as we're speaking more, our consciousness is being reclaimed. As our consciousness is being reclaimed, it's then influencing and, like, oozing into every aspect of Hawaii, in the political side, in the economic side, in tourism, everybody, and even people that are, from all around the world, people are now getting interested in understanding how to speak Hawaiian because of the mana in the olelo. The mana is as people begin to speak, there's parts of you that just gets awakened, because when you speak Hawaiian and understand Hawaiian, it's the only access way to see the world through Hawaiian lens, which is the only, like, people who see the world in this lens. And when you see it in that lens, then you realize, wait, this is the lens that our kupuna had to thrive for a few thousand years in Hawaii. And once this lens was taken in 2 generations, now you can see the destruction of Hawaii in 115 years. So it all leads to our olelo. Interesting, huh?
Yeah, that's very interesting. What inspired you to, want to learn more about Hawaiian culture?
Oh, bruh, I tell you, so as a Kanaka, I always knew of the people in my ohana. I didn't grow up in a cultured ohana to an extent. We all did cultural things. In Homestead Papakolea, we're like experts in making luau, at cooking Hawaiian food. Like the entire process of knowing how to do it was just embedded. On the other side, in our Homestead Kahalu, each of my kupuna on that side is expert watermen. But the core of what makes it Kanaka, Hawaii, is the practices and protocols in those happenings, right? And so it's like, to make Hawaiian food good, but it's how you make the Hawaiian food, in the spirit in which you make it. Those small intricate things, like to pule, to oli, and to come together and speak about Hawaiian things as we're doing it and not smoking cigarette.
Yeah.
Those kind of small things is what makes it Hawaiian, which I didn't get exposed to. So even though I was involved in the Hawaiian things, the essence of what made it Hawaiian wasn't there. And so, but I always had this massive, if you ask my uncles and my aunties and, 2 of my parents, I was always that one keiki who had a very, very big pull to things Hawaii. Always had a big pull about being Kanaka. I was always proud of being Hawaiian. I was inspired and pulled towards doing things Hawaiian and being involved in Hawaiian spaces. But I didn't go to any Hawaiian events growing up. I didn't participate in marches. I didn't do things that was a part of the community. So I didn't know a lot of Hawaiians that was doing Hawaiian stuff too.
Yeah.
Right? And so as I was in this process of having an understanding of who I am. I'm a huge guy on personal development. I got introduced to personal development since I was young. So I was always reading books about how to become a great human being, on how to be a person of excellence in every area of life, how to speak well. I had a speech impediment all of my life. So it's like how to speak well, how to communicate well, how to carry myself well, how to make it in this world in being who I am. Also being misunderstood a lot of times. I think a lot of people are misunderstood in their lives because they don't know how to communicate how they think with how they feel, in how they express, and then how it's interpreted
received.
and received. If that's a fluid line, almost 90% of people, that's not a fluid line. You know, people have thoughts and feelings, they don't even know how to process it. And I was also there. So I went on this journey of understanding who I am, and it led me to all kind of different places that were so amazing. Business, you know, spirituality in the church, all kinds of stuff. But then it came down to the one thing I didn't fully explore and commit to was being Kanaka. And there's a part of me that was afraid. That's why, you know, I think a lot of Hawaiians are able to relate, or a lot of people who have been decultured who live in the US, they can relate to the fact that at times people are scared to really discover who they are because they don't really know who they are. And they think they know who they are because they've achieved a few things, been featured in a few articles, and, you know, like making $1 million, making $1 million. Like people think they like know who they are. You know how much millionaires I know who have no idea really who they are, and they're lost. And people, they have a realization of this only in their 50s when they have a midlife crisis and their wife leaves them. They don't understand that they worked all of their lives for pretty much nothing.
The connection is lost.
For vain. Has no truth and mana in who they are. So if had no money a part of the picture, if there had no achievements and accolades a part of their picture, if they were to stand alone, they're easy to break. Right? And so I was going through that process, and I realized what I needed to do was to choose being Hawaiian in every color. In every color. Yeah, because there's all kind of different expressions and colors of what it means to be Kanaka. Yeah, it's not only speaking Hawaiian. There is plenty of Hawaiians who can speak Hawaiian, but they're not also even thinking Hawaiian or doing things Hawaiian. And they have an addiction to alcohol. You know, the other end has people who not speaking Hawaiian fully, but they're doing such amazing things for the community. And yeah, expanding all their efforts in the Lahui. I came to the realization that all of that exists within me because they exist in what it means to be Hawaiian in all these different ways. And so it took me on this huge journey, bro, of understanding history, pain and trauma that's been put on our people, like all in the journey of understanding self, because understanding history of who I am and what happened to our people is also going to give me understanding of why I am the way I am right now. How come has things in me that I don't really know, you know, on how to fix, on how to engage with. There's this thing in me that I feel like I didn't even choose. That there's this internal battle that I have to go through. Like, what is happening? All of that is the karma that us as Kanaka live with. Like this internal battle that if we don't have the tools, if we don't have the education, if we don't have the access to resources that allows us to know ourselves again, to reclaim identity in a peaceful way. Peace, because the trauma can really get you angry. The history can easily get you hateful and spiteful to the state of Hawaii, to the provisional government, to Haole. You know, can really get you hateful. Which then evolved me into going on a path of healing, because then I realized that in order for me to fully know and actualize who I am as a Kanaka, I have to engage in what happened to us and the pain and trauma that happened to me. And then I gotta ho'oponopono. I got, to ho'opono in myself. Like, what did I do in my past that hurt me? To unlock that mana I'm talking about. Because panikanaka, the reason why we get hard time in life is because we get this mana that is untapped. It's stored. It's never been activated. And we don't know how to activate them. Because there's places to exercise this mana. In aina, kuleana, yo'ohana, with akua, with people,
There's
who's in the community. There's conflict inside that doesn't allow you to fully engage in the authenticity of your pure mana. And so, in other words, if you want to engage to a state of aloha and be the best you can be, you have to go inside and to malama and to ho'opono whatever's causing you to project that pain upon people, even without you knowing. So that mana is what I was dealing with in myself. And I had to go on a path of exploration of who I am. And it put me on the journey of deep spiritual practice. I grew up in a Christian household. We didn't always practice fully, but we always believed in akua. We always had faith. And every time the two of each of my kupuna, and I talked to my mom, my dad, every time they hit hardship, they always lean on kiakua. They always lean on akua. I never really knew what that meant until I began to not believe in akua, but to know akua. And when I know akua, I began to know my kupuna. Because my kupuna, how I know my kupuna is they did their best to live with akua as best as they could. And then it led me on a path of plant medicine, on healing. I started sitting in ceremony with ancient plant medicines, and it awakened me, which is the reason why our organization is called Awakened Aloha. Because I began to realize through prayer and ceremony that in order to change the world, we have to create spaces for people to get introduced to their aloha, what that really means, and how to choose aloha no matter circumstance. All these issues that freaking happening in Hawaii, happening in Lahaina, water rights issues, makes people so angry, which helps us to realize that when we can choose aloha in this, it's okay to have anger. It's okay to have spite. It's okay to feel those things. But we also must ensure that our actions is fueled by the spirit of aloha and not that anger. Because if we're going to act with anger, it perpetuates that energy field in whatever we create. So I try to help people to get introduced to their aloha, what that means to be aloha, feel it, live it. And when something arises in you, just give your aloha to it, to everybody around you. So, anyway,
I totally agree with what you're saying, because I grew up Christian church as well. Right, my dad was a pastor. We went different paths with our, with our faith. Right, he wanted to be a pastor. I didn't want to be a pastor. Right, but I served a lot of, in the youth groups and stuff like that. And I would teach the youth the same thing about, it's okay to have different conflict in your heart, but you have to find peace somewhere down the line, right? And that peace, however they find it, they have to actively pursue it, and they got to realize it, and they got to address it.
Yes.
They can't go around it.
Yes.
And that's something I always told people. You can't go around a conflict. You have to face it head on.
100%.
And if you can get through it, if you can work through that conflict, you come out a stronger person.
100%. 100%. There is this a cool teaching in personal development that teaches if you as an individual is engaging in conflict, and that conflict is hitting you super strong. How you choose to engage with it is going to determine how quickly you get over it. So it's kind of like he taught us that instead of being cool with it, be hino with it. So that it instead of you engaging too heavy with it, putting too much energy in it, just allow it to flow through it. Just, issues, anger, things that people got to deal with. Being able
allow
to
the process
just
to,
allow the process to take place. Because
yeah.
as Akua said, even in scripture, this has not come to stay. It has come to pass, just like everything, right?
Yeah.
So in the midst of the storm, try to do your best to have internal peace. Because when you look outside the boat and you see Akua walking on water, you go, "Oh, this kanak!" You get action at it's freaking Hawaii. Yeah,
And it's you'll be able to see clearly.
you'll be able to see clearly.
Because without that, you might feel you're still in the storm at that point.
Yeah. And that's a lot of people. And here's the thing, ba. You're not ever gonna have a perfect life that is without storm. Even Hawaii, even though we get, all the hurricanes every year, happens to just miss Hawaii. Once upon a time, there's stuff that hits Hawaii. Everything that's been happening in Maui, that's one of the big things that landed, that hit Hawaii. And depending on how a person chooses to see it and to perceive it, is irrelevant because it's already happened and hit. So now choosing to be in a mindset of leadership on looking at the whole situation, on how to propose information and ways to not only have peace in the midst of the hurt, pain, and trauma, but to being proactive in it so that it can prevent anything else happening. That's applied to everyday life. That's not just applied to government. I think like people in government have a difficult time seeing it because they're in the hurricane all the time because government is a hard place to be. But, so
for yourself as a content creator that's well known, especially in Hawaii, what kind of questions have people asked you about like the Maui situation?
I've received everything from conspiracy theories. How do I believe in this? What happened? Is it true that people who is in each of the spaces in West Maui, they don't have access to water? Just a culmination of what I think. I try to do my best to put kind of what I think in different perspectives in content so that I answer everybody's questions through just putting content on.
Yeah.
Because there's hundreds of DMs that I get every month. And I answer all my DMs. And so, I get different questions, like about the People's Fund, about Oprah and Rock, because people thinking because I created a video on it, I was advocating for them. Now people telling me that I'm a sellout, hate speech, all kinds,
But you're giving a different take.
Yeah, I'm giving a different take. And I come from a perspective to give people a chance to prove themselves in helping our community. Because if we need people and resources and partnerships to have a better future, then we got to make sure that if it's hard to have these issues to be healed and resolved in governmental levels, then it's independent organizations that are grassroots who are going to make this stuff happen. It's always been that way. Since the overthrow of the Hawaiian Kingdom, it's been that way. Our people are grassroots organizers. We don't have to worry about what's happening in government. We're going to make it happen because they work for us. It's so true. Yeah, but you cannot hate them.
Yeah.
They're just going to be doing what they know because people do what they know, Hawaiian. If people knew better, they would do better. So I come from a perspective where I try to ask myself, okay, in these situations, if our ancient chiefs of old, if our, if Pi'ilani, if Liloa, if Kuali'i had been in existence in this time, how would they think? How would they think in these issues?
How would they react?
How would they react? Our kupuna were masters at the art of war and strategy. Which is a culmination of being able to plan aspects of attack, but it's also a culmination of building treaties and alliances, and being a person who is in leadership, who is able to engage in difficult conversations with difficult people in a way that brings about healthy solutions, like to actually be a diplomatic individual, but to not be weak, to be diplomatic, to understand all of your strengths, all of your weaknesses, and what are their strengths and what are their weaknesses. How can we build relationship to help a better future in Hawaii? And I seen Oprah and The Rock doing a very humble and truthful an honorable thing when they don't have to. They don't have to help nobody. And people are grumbling, well, they're billionaires and, like they could have gave all of their money if they wanted to. If I would ask you to give all of your money, would you? Probably not, Kanak. Yeah, they just humans too, bro. And they're operating at huge levels of influence. But to just have a fund and to have a concept and an idea to give people a constant paycheck, independent, not government. This isn't stipends from the state. This is independent people who are contributing to get 8,000 people paychecks. I think
their
that's
own fund. That's
their own fund that they're building. It's genius. And only people at that high level of influence are able to put out messaging to get their people to contribute to it. And so I'm an advocate for it because I don't think it can hurt. All of the other bullshit, it's what's hurting.
And then in a lot of ways, we have to have faith in the organizations that are doing something for the community.
100%.
Because if we don't have faith in it, then I guess anybody that creates an organization is just gonna look like a villain at that point.
Yeah. If you have kuleana, I tell this to all of my brothers who I mentor, brother. If you know your kuleana, then you're not worried about having your nose in other people's kuleana. But when you don't know your kuleana, you're always looking into every other lane on the freeway on what other people stay doing because your car too slow. How about you put an investment into a bigger van to help, 18-passenger van to help the whole Lahui build one community and keep your eye on the prize. Everybody is putting energy into the good work to helping our people. So try your best to not be on flat tire. Because plenty people flat tire, Hawaiian. But I talked to my Uncle Glenn, pure Filipino, this bugger all the time. He used to tell me, Hawaiian, kala. That boy over there, flat tire. Flat tire, He go. He no listen. He always grumbling. He worrying about everybody's stuff. Flat tire, Hawaiian. So in other words, keep your tires on your vehicle filled, kana, with good mana, with good spirit, and just focus on where you're going on your
good air, right?
Yeah, or air.
Yep. good air.
Just good mana. Having good mana, you know.
Yep, exactly. Good. That's a very important thing to remember, guys. Don't have flat tires.
And not be on flat tire.
Yeah, don't be on flat tire either.
And just keep running them onto the rim, and then you bust up and they kill everybody in the vehicle. You know what I'm talking about?
Then go to the uncle down the street who will help you out. He'll teach you out. He'll pump up some good air.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing, man. So I want to go to the three fundamentals that you talk about, especially in Awaken Aloha.
Yes.
Which is Aloha Aina, Aloha Akua, and Aloha Kanaka.
Aye.
Right? What's the importance of that in terms of, your message to people?
So if I may ask you, how would you define Aloha Aina, Aloha Akua, and Aloha Kanaka?
Okay, so Aloha Aina, well, if I think about it like spirit, soul, and body, right? I would say the Kanaka is the mindset, right? The mindset. Aloha Kua, the spirit.
Yes.
And then Aloha Aina is the body.
Aye.
Right? Because you want to take care of the land, which is in turn takes care of the body.
Yes.
Right? And Aloha Kanaka, when you're treating others with respect, the way you treat others is the way you want to be treated, right?
Yes.
That's with the connection with one another.
Yes.
And then the law of spirit, Aloha Akua, is my relationship to God.
Yes.
And his relationship with me and how we connect.
Oh yeah.
So that's how I look at it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, that is a You know, it's like different perspectives on one thing that different schools of thought, you know, is a part of what it is to also be Hawaiian, is to see things from so many different perspectives and knowing that they all exist and they can coexist, And so in prayer one day, I was looking for my purpose, kanaka, looking for my kuleana for the next 200 years. I was looking for my kuleana. What I gonna do, Hawaiian? I like build, you know, everything of my life on something that is like stone, rock. In the words of the Messiah. No bira kanaka build your house on the pu'one, Hawaiian. Yeah. Hawaiian, you build your house on the po'aku. Because the baga stable foundation. Yep. You get foundation. And then he says, you know, you build your house on truth. You build everything that you are on truth, because that's the only thing that cannot be shaken, right? And so I think to myself, I praying to Akua. Akua tell me, kanaka, I told you already long time ago, Hawaiian. Remember when you was 8 years old? I told you, Hawaiian, in the parking lot of school, remember? Aloha. That's what you get, boy. Aloha. You know, everybody get aloha. But the purity, you know, I guess it's karmic. You know, I've had a chance to be given a spirit of aloha that I've learned, I've heard that people never really see and get a lot of the times, even from Hawaiians, you know. And, but we all have the spirit of aloha in one way or the other, but, you know, Akua telling me one day, kanaka, Hawaiian, aloha, I go, yeah, but how is this gonna help people? Because you know, I gotta put it into like a system that people can learn. Because when you ask 100 people the meaning of aloha, you get 100 different answers. So, and you know, ever since I was a kid, brother, I've been a student of consciousness and philosophy, and I know the power of philosophy. And when you give the right principles and you plant it in the right soil, the philosophy sticks because it resonates. And then Akua tell me, kanaka, get 3 main principles, Hawaiian. It's connected to each of your piko. I go, huh? He go, yeah, you know, the piko A, the piko E, the piko O, Hawaiian. The base of your spine, yeah, the root chakra, the crown chakra, and the plexus. In other words, each human being has these points of their body that connect them to that which is below, that which is above, and that which is in front of them and all around them. And then, you know, Akua tell me, kanaka, aloha aina. I go, ah. All of the master teachers taught this, Akua tell me. All of the master teachers, from the Buddha to Yahushua HaMashiach to Krishna, they pretty much teach the same thing, but Akua tell me. Everybody, they looking at the teachings of each of the students. They're not looking at the teachings of them. Akua tell me, kanaka, hear the words of our Messiah. He said what? We take all the laws of Leviticus, we break them down to 2 main laws. Aloha Akua. You love Akua with all of your mind, all of your soul, all of your strength. And aloha kanaka. You love everybody around you.
Your neighbor
as your brethren and sister. As you love yourself. As you love Akua. And then I go, okay, so where aloha aina come in? He go, well, you see, all of that is possible, truthfully, only when you get connection to place. You have connection to aina. Because the spirit of Akua is made actualized and manifest in the creation of Akua. And we're not the only creations of Akua, we're the last. As it says in the Bible, at least. We're the last of the creation, Hawaiian. Akua created everything else before you, kana. So everything is your kupuna. Which telling you that that this principle of aloha aina is foundational to the connection to your kupuna. To your ancestry, to your heritage, which sparks our work in Awakened Aloha. That our clientele a lot of the times is not only Kanaka. Our clientele are people that are looking for their kupuna. And a lot of the ones looking for the kupuna is people that is non-cultured, people that are looking for their purpose and they're trying to find it. They can't find it. And then they hear on Instagram or something, I'm telling people that in order for you to know yourself, you have to know who you come from, where you come from. Because the easiest way to put this, an identity of the fruit is determined on its connection to its root. The quality of the fruit is the quality of the root. If you is one good mango, Hawaiian, it's because your mahiai stay feeding your tree, Kanaka. You planted in some good aina, absolutely, and the roots is intact. If your mango coming out rotten all the time, Kana, and you wondering why, there's an infection somewhere in the tree. The infection could be in the root. That infection is the impacts of colonization upon the human species. That infection, that disconnect from who you are. This is not like, this is why I'm an advocate that when you come to Hawaii, not only know Hawaii, but know yourself. Because when you know who you come from, the cultural practices of your kupuna, then you're going to understand why it's so important to honor Kanaka in Hawaii. You're not in your homeland. We are. Yeah. So try to do your best to advocate to maintain Kanaka presence in our kulaiwi. If you don't maintain our presence, then guess what? As all the statistics just came out, over 50% of Hawaiians are living off of our homeland now, which is a problem. But that adds because now those Kanaka are looking for who they are outside now. They're not connected to their onehanau anymore in mana. So aloha aina, aloha akua, aloha Kanaka have connection and honor to your land, to your place, to your identity with place. Because Kanakas have an identity associated with place. You can as well. Even if you live in Hawaii and you don't come from here, you can identify with what is Hawaii that is going to give you a pathway to re-indigenizing your own self. Aloha akua, spiritual connection. Au makua, being able to reactivate this antenna that everybody get to spiritual understanding, spiritual gifts, ancestral wisdom. All that is above. It's an ancient truth in Kemet, in ancient Egypt. It's a part of the Hermetic laws. As above, so below, as within, so without. That is just saying that everything is connected. That when you look at Akua, you see Aina. When you look at Aina, you see Akua. When you look at Aina now, you see Kanaka. Because it's the spirit of the Kanaka that is expressed as a vessel of Akua in flesh on the planet. So to love the Aina, to love Akua, and then to love one another is so fundamental, because the quality of your life is the quality of the relationships that you develop in your life. You look at a good Kanaka, who is pono, most likely their relationships are intact. When you speak to a person that is not pono, that going through consistent issues in their life, most likely their relationships have been compromised. If you want to live pono, you must make sure that your relationships and how you engage with the outside world, with your aina, with akua, with your ohana. Because this understanding of in the third principle of aloha kanaka, it also connects you to everything in your ohana and genealogy. Because who are the closest people that are connected to you on the outside of you? Is your makua, and is your ho'aloha, is your ho'ohana, is all of your kupuna that is connected to you. So when the quality of your relationships in your ohana, you know how much people I met, Kanaka, who don't have a good relationships to any of their parents or siblings. You know how much people have come to me and saying, "Bah, I haven't spoken to the two of my parents for 30 years. How do I mend this?" I tell them, good. Begin to rekindle the aloha. Just begin to look at the good memories and the good things. Because there's the bad things so easily to look at. Look at the good. And have that activate who you really are. And to mend that relationship, it may be hard. You can't control the other side of the handshake. But you can control your side. Make sure that your handshake is extended with pure love. pure intention, pure purpose to the betterment of that person and everybody around them. Make sure of that. And when that light can beam, then it can flow through. You cannot control anything else.
And I think a lot of it too is what you feed yourself as well, because you, like you were saying about good memories, bad memories. With relationships, I think if people instill good memories of loved ones, right, then healing can start to take place.
Can happen. Yeah, it's being a little bit of an enthusiast on human optimization. You gotta watch your diet.
Yeah.
You gotta watch your diet spiritually, emotionally, and mentally, physically, and energetically, right? And so, if you look at all of our spiritual teachers, all throughout history, that people look at, they maintained a good diet. They maintained a clear energy field, a good, healthy physical body, good spiritual states of awareness all the time, and good principles to help them to think appropriately and to have emotional intelligence. Like these tools, I love schooling in different areas. These things, these human tools that everybody needs, that you don't need to learn in a book, these tools is what I feel is missing across all educational platforms. There is only specific places teaching people emotional intelligence, higher states of awareness, spiritual truths that is universal, not true. It's not true because you say it's true. It's truthful because it's universal around the board. And when you look at the teachings of all of our ancient masters, you see that they taught nothing but universal truths that existed from before the beginning to after the end. It will always exist. These are the tools that we got to make sure to build our house on, because that's the pohaku to build the hell. That right there.
So do you believe that the fundamentals of, aloha akua, aloha aina, aloha kanaka, can that be translated to, let's say, tourism, right? Or let's say the housing crisis here today. You know what I mean? Do you think that can be translated to different issues?
It's a part of the reason why its principles in and of itself is going to make an imprint in history. I already know already. It's because if it's not able to be taught in every single way and be applied in every single place and arena of human existence, it's not universal. It's like the law of gravity. Even if you're the handsomest brother in the world, Hawaiian, and you think you get the most manaka, if you jump off a 3-story building, Hawaiian, even on 3-story, even off one storage truck, you might break your leg. Because the law of gravity not gonna help you float, kanaka, right? And so that's a universal thing that's always in play. And so in, like specifically in the tourism industry, it's what everything is being based off of in our work, actually. I'm gonna be introducing a tourism platform. It's me and a co-founder of mine, a good brother of mine, Phil. We are introducing a full tourism app soon. Wow. It's the first of its kind. It's a full killer platform that is educational based. It's going to be introduced in 3 to 4 months. It's going to be launching in a new year. But it's based on these 3 principles. Is that people who we work with as tour operators, it's not
as a resource to connect people.
And it's going to be access to all of our partners, all of our tour operators, to go through a training on implementing these things as the foundational principles of their business model. Because it's not pono if it's not in connection to the aina. It's not pono if it's not giving honor to akua, to na akua, to aumakua, which implements the practices of chanting, implementing prayer. That's what makes it Hawaiian. And then it's not pono if it's not into the benefit of the people, of the nation, of the people living in Hawaii. Which you can see the tourism industry, like thing in the housing crisis, everything happening. The approaches, the philosophy is destructive. It's extractive. The philosophy, everything is philosophy, right? So if we want to create new industries that is pono, we need new philosophies. Because we're basing everything off of these handbooks that becomes the philosophies on how people audit, how people pass permits, how people do these things. Change the philosophies. And so it can have a list of different things to give accreditation to projects. But I think the foundational thing has to be to malama aina, to aloha aina, to aloha akua, to aloha kanaka in what we do. And in doing that, I always close it with aloha Hawaii. Because when you're connected to your land and when you're connected to spirit and have pilina to people around you, to your ohana, no matter where you are, who you are, even if you're not kanaka, that's what it means in the fundamental way. That's what it means to be Hawaii. Hawaii. The spirit and the mana. People don't even know. They come off the plane. They step off the plane. They're like, what is this energy in Hawaii?
Yeah.
This is what people want. Because when you go to Florida, when you go to Utah, when you go to Georgia, yeah, even when you go to Asia and China and different parts around the world, all of these places has its own beauty. Yeah. Because everywhere in Akua's creation, get beauty kanaka everywhere. It's in the eyes of the all perception. It's in the eyes of the beholder. When you come to Hawaii, there's this energy that's tangible that people cannot explain. That mana, it's not kanaka. It's not olelo. That mana is Hawaii. That's the mana that our kupuna 2,000 years ago when they came to Hawaii, that's the same mana that our kupuna felt. They couldn't describe it. They just call them Hawaii. Hawaii. This kind mana can heal the planet. So when we're talking about these principles in the way of aloha, which is going to be in a book in these next 8 to 10 months, all culminates to what I would call the way of aloha, living in the way of aloha that would lead you to your Hawaii. Because it's a state of mind, it's a state of consciousness. People are coming to Hawaii because of what Hawaii has for them. But what if this mana can be activated in you and you can live Hawaii? As Auntie Pilahipaki said, this is the key to peace within nations. It's this. It's this mana. Yeah.
Do you think that so for like cultural appropriation, right? Let's say that someone opens a business, right, and they maybe they don't do enough research in making leis, for instance, right, and they just create the business because maybe they experience some of the mana.
It's a good opportunity,
but it's a good opportunity, but they don't completely understand it. Why do you think that? Maybe they feel some of that mana in what they've learned, but they don't translate it to their business and make it more cultural appreciation rather than appropriation.
Nice, bro. Nice. That's an excellent question that I'm gonna answer directly to the camera. If you are any person coming to Hawaii and you don't really know anything about culture, or potentially you're exploring in culture, here's what I want to encourage you. Try your best to take your time. I understand we live in a crazy system of capitalism that breeds opportunity in free enterprise. I understand. But you want to make sure to stay pono so that this business is not going to turn on you in the long run. Because the era of cultural exploitation is ending. It's coming to an end. There's always going to be the bad eggs in the group. Of course. Fine. Yeah. Fine. It's okay. But this era of this approach to Hawaiian culture to be consumed, to be used, and to be seen as a commodity because of business opportunity is ending. Get educated. Have a person in culture. Reach out to me. Have a person in culture who can help you, who can put you in contact to the right ways to do this. so that if you're going to create a business, it's built on authenticity, it's built on integrity, it's built on what it truly means to be a person of aloha. Because if not, your business will fold. It's going to fold. It's not going to work. So we are proving that authenticity in culture and the implementations of aloha aina, aloha akua, aloha kanaka is not going to hurt your bottom line. It's going to better your bottom line. Because people that are coming to Hawaii now, they're not interested in the Waikiki thing that's happening. People are now interested. Our generation, our parents' generation was still on the tour buses, kind of. Our parents' generation was like still in that infected stage.
It was a
infected stage.
Different mentality.
Yeah, different mentality.
Yeah.
But the influence of the consciousness, it was because the people who were leading the storytelling, the advertising, the marketing campaigns, these guys, they were non-cultured. They were using Hawaii as a prostitute. They're pimping our aina'o, our mama'o, haumea. That day is coming to an end. So if you want to thrive in the future, I'm not saying employ kanaka, empower kanaka, get into partnership, into alliance with kanaka. If they want to help you, awesome. If they don't, hard luck. Because they're going to know your mana through how you engage with them and how things in your business model looks like. I'm a kanaka who's here to help. I want an economy that works for everybody. But if we're going to do it authentically, it means building a future of Hawaii that is pono, that is rooted in what is Hawaii. And as my good Baraku Ike told me, all these Christians always say, in order to get to heaven, you have to go to Jesus Christ. And I go say this on every podcast. And then he told me, well, Kanaka, in order to get to Hawaii, you have to come to us as Kanaka. Again, in order to get to Hawaii, you have to come through Hawaiians. You have to come to Kanaka. It's the only way.
And I think there's people that they want to learn too. You know what I mean? Like there's a they felt the mana. They don't fully understand it yet, but they probably don't really understand where to reach out to or who they can talk to about really learning. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's not always accessible, right? Which is a part of the reason why I think I kind of fit in the middle.
Yeah.
In things because in the core, I've always been a peacekeeper, you know, and in order to keep the peace, hey, you gotta be open, but be sturdy, like be a beacon of light, and you know, to be a lighthouse, you know, because get plenty of people that is lost out there, and so if people need help in doing this, I want to make sure that I can offer the resources in order to ensure that they do this process accordingly, appropriately, and with the right intentions, but doing it in a way that is not only going to help them and their business, but it's going to help the community, so that the community advocates for their business. If you're a person that is not operating for the community is not going to operate in advocacy for you. I mean, it's so easy to understand, but you know, American mentality only looking
the individual. It's
individualized.
Yeah.
It's only based on the self, which is destructive. And again, look at the universal truth of the Messiah. Hey, if you want this, if you want the kingdom of heaven, if you want truth, if you want peace, give up yourself and hold the cross and carry the cross.
The body.
Kanaka. Yeah. Endure the pain. Endure the challenging. Don't try to take shortcuts because of opportunity that you want to gain status, recognition, and money. You know, go through the process. Be pono. If you need to make money, find another way to do them. Do Uber.
Yeah, a lot of guys need rides.
Many people
need rides. A lot of flat tires. They need rides.
I love it.
I want to switch topics a little bit because I want to talk about kukini.
Aye.
Right? And,
Nice.
And you were the war chief, right?
Yes.
So you guys did a premiere yesterday?
A couple days ago. Yeah,
okay.
word.
So talk to us about that film, what it means to you, how you got involved.
So I've been in and out of doing acting stuff, here and there. I think this introduction or this expansion of the Hawaii film industry is taking place right now. So Chiefs of War is going to be launching in about 8 to 10 months, and that's an Apple TV series of old Hawaii and the chiefs in the time of Kamehameha and Kahikili. Huge production, and I had a chance to be a part of Chiefs of War.
Awesome.
And huge projects in storytelling, right? Because Kanaka, we just naturally born storytellers.
Yeah.
Right? We always like talk story, so but it get hard
Good
times
stories.
at times to and get hard times to ask Kanaka to shut up. Just like me, and
They're good stories though.
Good stories.
Good stories.
Always good stories.
Always good stories though.
If you can turn every Hawaiian into a filmmaker, the stuff, the freaking film industry could replace tourism because Hawaiians is such good storytellers, right?
Could be 4-hour movies, but hey, they're gonna be good 4-hour movies.
4-hour movies, for real, bro, for real. So to like speak a little bit about Kukini, I actually seen a casting call, Paula Funga's, her Instagram, I just want to give a shout out to Paula. Amazing job, Tita, and congratulations on the follow through. Hey, we're not done yet. I know that, but I love you and appreciate you, Tita. We actually spent almost every day on film together. Spent a lot of time together with actually her and Mitchell Merrick. Had Chris Kahunahana. So these important people in film in Hawaii actually coming together to do a project that has layers of kauna, of hidden meaning to it. And I'm not gonna spoil it too much on the cultural context of it, but just through the trailer, it takes place in Iao Valley. It takes place it's based on a kukini, and a kukini had actually been a person in the chief's court who would be a speedy runner, a person who knew his terrain. He would be kind of like in the Christian context, and almost like an evangelist and messenger. That if there was a message to take from chief to chief, a kukini's hired, and he's employed to take the message and to run across the island, right? And so all of our chiefs, in a lot of ways, have been trained to be kukini, because to understand place, to actually understand people, and how to have kuleana to be fulfilled. And so this story is based on a kukini who has to relay a message and to see what the hell is happening in this time of Kamehameha's invasion to Maui. And like super powerful. And so had the casting call, I put in plenty good Kanaka came. Seeing all my good brothers who were at the casting call and auditions, and we had to prepare with a few lines, Ikalola Hawaii. And then we get there, and there's the team, our production team is there, and we don't have to do any lines. All they were asking for is a war cry.
Wow.
Because who they were looking for was the war chief. Yeah, like to have a war cry. Like who is going to be in the key pu'upu'u leaders and warriors in Kamehameha's army? Who is going to be in that? So, we come inside there, we doing the war cry. I come inside Kanaka, I do the war cry. Yeah, we bust them out, Hawaiian, give my full mana. It was in the trailer. Has a small clip of a war cry that I'm doing.
I seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, intense scene.
Your full garment.
Intense scene, bro. Yeah, and we so hilarious story. Mahalo akua. I do the war cry in the audition. I leave. I'm going back to my car. I realize I forgot my keys and my protein bottle. In the casting room. I wait a little bit. I go back into the casting room. I go, oh, calamai, guys. Bruh, I forgot my keys and my stuff. They go, oh, no, perfect. Hey, are you interested in reading lines?
Oh, wow.
I go, oh, automatic. I forgot my lines because I thought we weren't going to do the lines, yeah? So I was like, hey, guys, I need like 3 minutes. I head outside. I read my lines again. But I get them all in. And I do the lines. Interestingly enough, I didn't get a call back. I didn't receive a callback email. So I'm wondering what is happening. Okay, so Chris Kahunahana, who is a filmmaker here in Hawaii, he DMs me. He's like, hey, brah, you better, the casting team emailed you. If you want this role, you better answer the email. I go, I didn't receive anything. He go, well, I'm just letting you know. If you want the role of the war chief, you got it. I go, what? Why didn't they email me? So anyway, hell with the email. I talked to Chris, text me, shoot me. Bro, I got the role, bro. And
congrats.
Bro, thank you, bro. And it was kind of a little bit of a co-lead role. Yeah, because this kind of story is really like between the key Pu'upu'u warriors and the Kukini. It's between us, and I'm the chief of war. So it's like based on like me, I'm wanting to get him. So there's there is intense scenes in this film that is the first time. Keep in mind, this is the first time that our chiefs in each of the adornments of our chiefs, the ahu'ula, the leniho paraua, the mahiole. This is the first time that this is going to be on screen.
Wow.
Until Chiefs of War comes out, of course. But
Right.
this is a short film that's going to air, I believe, before. So this is the first film that's going to have these implements of our kupuna on screen. First time. Ever.
Wow.
And it's a high-level film, brother. High-level film. And so we were, had a great opportunity to build Pilina with good Hawaiians, with people a part of the film, experts in culture, in storytelling, in all aspects of how to tell Hawaiian stories, in the consciousness of Hawaii, in our kupuna. Yeah, because if we're not going to tell our story, then who is?
Yeah.
Everybody else. If you look at the films in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, everybody telling our story was in the perspective of the missionary. There was no Kanaka telling our story in Olelo, Hawaii. Yeah. So this is what is happening, brother. It was a phenomenal experience, and it's going to lead to higher opportunities for people in Hawaii, for Kanaka on screen and Kanaka in film, and it's going to make waves, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, congratulations on you guys making the film, pulling together. I mean, that's a big high-level cast. I mean, you have Mitchell, who's great filmmaker. Shouts to Mitchell. I mean, he recently did a Star Wars film as well.
Oh, he did?
A Star Wars short film. So very high. He's great.
Epic at CGI.
Yeah.
He does
Great
amazing
filmmaker.
work. Yeah.
And
Chris,
he's
so kind.
Yeah, he's super kind.
So kind. Yeah.
And then Chris did a film, Waikiki the film, I believe.
Which is a powerful film too
Right.
for everybody to watch. It's called Waikiki. You can't view it anywhere outside of the Hawaii International Film Festival circuit.
Yeah.
So if there's a call to come on and watch Waikiki, come. Yeah.
But I mean, phenomenal what you guys got to put together, and
fun, bro.
And then Paula, she actually wrote it, right? She did the screenplay.
This is her project overall.
Wow.
It's her story. So it's not a fictional story. It takes place in real events. The intricate story that is taking place behind it is her concept. It's her and Mitchell. Right? So it's real things happening, but the intimate story is her creation, because as you know, if you do things based on two specific individuals and events, the cultural police come out.
Yeah.
And so
But the time period is there.
It's accurate.
It's accurate.
And practice is accurate. Everything accurate. Has Lua involved in it.
Wow.
Excellent people and cast of warriors that took place in the battle scene, including Ilimale McFarlane, she was
Oh,
involved
wow.
in it. You know, just good talent, bro. So super stoked.
She's a war chief too, right?
Yeah, she is, bro. Yes, Ilima. Yee.
Who did the Lua? Was it Michelle Manu? Did
Oh
she
no,
did?
bro.
It
Was an expert. Olohe Lua. His name is Uncle Ali'i. He was commissioned on Chiefs of War to be
Oh, okay.
the actually lead coach of all Lua on Chiefs of War as well. I give my honor to this Ali'i. Uncle Ali'i, he gets such good mana. He taught us a lot of stuff, bro, about Lua. But it's just the mana. Yeah, I just appreciate the mana that is Kanaka. I so appreciate seeing Kanaka who are ho'oikaika, who are strong, who is ho'okanaka, ho'oali'i, you know, who stand in the mana of our chiefs, who act chiefly, who carry themselves chiefly, and who is truthful, integrous, and honorable. And one of those kanaka is Uncle Ali'i. So I appreciate you, Uncle Ali'i.
I was gonna say, yeah, Lua. I remember I did I took a workshop.
Yeah.
With Michelle Manu. She did.
Nice. Yes.
She did a Lua workshop.
Here?
Yeah, here.
Nice.
In Kailua, actually.
Nice.
And well, that was because my teacher he taught Kalia Eskrima to myself and some other students as well. So we learned Filipino martial arts, but then we were interested in learning.
Excellent.
You know, Lua as well. So I was like, oh wow, let's you know.
It's all
cross,
similar.
You know what I mean?
It's all similar.
Yeah, it's all similar.
All martial arts. Yeah. You know, it's important as we look at every aspect of all of our cultures is to see the uniqueness and to maintain the spirit of the cultural integrity in its uniqueness. Is to maintain that because it's kapu. You know, there are things in culture that is kapu, and there's things in culture that is not kapu. It's norm.
Right.
But it's equally as important to being able to see every aspect and
To
principle
learn.
in culture that integrates
intertwines.
with one another.
Right.
Yeah, because it gives us indicators that we're all connected a lot more than not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, bro, Michael.
So yeah, it's cool. It's really cool. Any martial arts, I tell people, you know, try out any martial art,
100%.
right? And really learn not just the technique, but learn the culture, learn the history, you know, and really understand, you know, how a martial art became to be, because
All the principles and philosophy behind it.
exactly.
Because it's just an expression of the principles that is in the culture.
Yep.
It's an expression of the
It's an art.
philosophy. Yeah. And all practitioners of any martial arts inherently they're philosophers because they need to be in order to be an expert at the art.
Yeah.
They need to be. You got to understand every aspect and facet of energetic moves to hit specific areas and how come it's called that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, bro. It's all a part of martial arts.
So before we wrap up, I actually want to ask one more question.
Yes.
Do you believe, and you've answered this before on your page, but do you believe Hawaii could be sovereign again? And what do you think we lack in today's society that's maybe blocking us from getting to that point?
So I'll answer that with understanding mo'olelo. Because in our mo'olelo, it gives us a clear picture and understanding of how our kupuna built that and why they built it the way they built it. And what happened in the time of our kupuna in the overthrow. What's the culmination of events? That's mo'olelo. It's a sequence of events, like the mo'okuauhau of events. To answer the first question, absolutely. Of course it's possible. If we don't believe it's possible, then it's never gonna happen. It's never gonna happen. It's super possible. But it's not only possible; it's feasible. It's also a better option. it's a better option. And the reason why I say it's a better option, because everything that keeps us out of achieving that is actually because of the consciousness of the United States, of the Western world, and how it perceives how to rule and govern a people is not applicable in an archipelago. And so how the U.S. operates is based on a continental consciousness on how to govern, on big landmass governance. It's not built on island governance, right? And you can also see that ever since the influence of the U.S., I mean, it doesn't take a rocket science to see that ever since the introduction of this approach of how the U.S. rules and governs had been the start of the decline of our economic resources, our environmental resources, our water resources, how we feed our people. Every single aspect and facet of what makes Hawaii Hawaii has been on the decline since Uncle Sam actually put foot on our shores.
Pointed at us.
Yeah, pointed at us. You know, and it's not, again, I try to stay in the middle and trying to see where it all fits. It's a part of history. We have a great opportunity right now in our generation to analyze all these things that have taken place and to analyze it truthfully, to actually bring the right people to the table who make decisions on an international level, on a U.S. level, a federal level, on a state and county level. Like bringing in all of these people, having the right conversations that is not hateful, it's not angry, looking at the proof, looking at the evidence. Yeah, because when you look at the evidence, it speaks for itself.
Yeah.
That in order for us to even have a chance to reclaim or to reinstate independence in Hawaii, which means it doesn't mean the U.S. military needs to leave, because everybody always has a rebuttal.
Yeah.
Well, if the U.S. military leaves, then Asia, the empires, are going to come and scoop up Hawaii. Hawaii being independent doesn't mean the U.S. military has to leave. Potentially, they're probably going to have to pay back rent, and potentially they're probably going to have to actually decrease its population and personnel. Because if two of the bases on Oahu, literally just two bases on Oahu, is downsized, two bases. If you take Schofield, and all the personnel Kaneohe base, which its old name is Mokapu. So the personnel on Kaneohe Marine Base and the personnel on Schofield, you open that up, you can house almost 50,000 families on those bases.
Wow.
Which is crown lands.
Wow.
Crown lands, because the U.S. military always builds their stuff on the most important spots. Yeah, that's just like Rome, because the U.S. is a modern day Roman Empire. Yeah, a hidden empire. Plenty of people don't understand that. Like, the U.S. is not a republic. It's an empire disguised as a republic. Yeah, because how the U.S. really is, and the person of the U.S. is not only mainland U.S. in the continental U.S. They have over 100 bases around the entire planet that actually has higher population in these countries than the culmination of the population in the continental U.S.
Right, there's U.S. embassies in different
There's
countries.
U.S. embassies and communities and bases around the world that actually is almost half of the population of the continental U.S. Right, and so, one, yes, it's possible. Yes, it's feasible. Two, what's holding us back? Our economic dependence is holding us back. Our imports, which then leads to a bigger agricultural conversation about producing foods. Yeah. Then that leads to a bigger conversation of how big, massive pieces of land in Hawaii is being used through big ag corporations to be a testing ground for pesticides, ruining any possibilities of us even being able to plant good food in that aina again. All the Monsantos,
in good soil.
it's all destructive because it's been a testing ground for the past 50, 60 years. So you're like, how do we make this right? Right? It's a step-by-step thing. And once again, we bring the right people to the table that has to agree on this. They need to agree that a Hawaii, it doesn't even have to be the Hawaiian kingdom. People are always talking about like, oh, what? We're going to choose to go back to having a monarchy? Probably not. Understanding it's a constitutional monarchy. It's not the monarchy that everybody looks at. It's ruled by a constitution. Just like a republic. It's just different names.
Different names.
Just different names for the leaders. That's all. You change it to a president. You change it to a prime minister. The Hawaiian kingdom had prime ministers. Had kuhina nuis. So if we're looking at it in that perspective, then we can definitely say that everybody that comes to the table has to agree on one thing. That, one, how Hawaii had been kind of ruled and governed and managed over the past 130 years. Has it helped us or has it hurt us? The entire picture, beginning with Aina, has our Aina been hurt and destroyed because of this philosophy of leadership and governance? Easy question to answer. How is the quality of health and mental health of our communities in the past 150 years, 130 years since post-overthrow? It's declined. How is our food production? Declined. How is our housing? Declined. Why? It's all because of a different philosophy of ruler, of how to rule and govern Hawaii. So a new philosophy needs to come in that is inherently ecosystem-based, then economic-based. It's in cooperation to everything. And then after that, it's reinstating treaties and connections to, yes, the United States, but reinstating treaties with all of the countries that we've had treaties with in the past. Not rocket science. Now it's having agreement to the populace. Yeah, and that's a little bit of a hard issue because people say that, well, you don't have any say if you're not Hawaiian. But that's not true because Hawaii was an all-inclusive people. Yeah. And so if you agree to become, to these terms, then you can become a Hawaiian national. And then if you become a Hawaiian national, then you have voting rights. Yeah. But the Constitution protects us, right? And so, I think everybody who's listening to this thinks that it's not only a possibility, it almost needs to happen to help Hawaii to be saved in the long run. It needs to happen.
And I think a lot of it too, it stems from the three principles, right? Aloha Akua, Aloha Aina, Aloha Kanaka.
Aye.
Right? And instilling that in, not just government, but each other, right? We instill that in our principles, and then that's how we can...
Instill it in yourself.
Yeah.
You can't control anybody. Instill it in yourself. Live by them. This is why I know that this philosophy that is inherently Kanaka, that is inherently Ike Kupuna, but is going to be applied and implemented in a way that it can be easily integrated to modern day, is going to help in our whole process of healing our people and reinstating who we are. Because when you can implement it for yourself and live it, then you begin to implement it to your children and to your families, then the community. And then, this is why the countries who have a connection between the government and the church, or like spiritual philosophies and how to rule, they last the longest. They last the longest because everybody has to all agree, quote unquote, on how to practice spiritual philosophy. Even if a person is practicing Buddhism, a person is practicing Hinduism, if you can come under the umbrella of a common philosophy that also is in alignment to those religions, then everybody can agree. The problem is nobody agree because everybody think that this is but that's a huge part to play in Christian countries because Christian countries breeds a lot of division because it seems like even though they're speaking the truth, they're preaching the truth, they don't live it because
live the truth.
In the foundation of it, it's the teachings of Paul. It's not the teachings of the Messiah. Because people always listen to Paul. You go to every church. They teach more scripture that is of Paul's teachings than the Messiah's teachings. But Paul, he was a Roman citizen. He wasn't criminal a lot of his life too, this Kanaka. But he found Akua. Wow. It seems like the United States, they criminals taking people's land, but they find Akua, so all good. Hey, all peace and love to the Apostle Paul. But if you're listening to truth, it's a Hawaiian proverb. E nana ike kumu is to go to the source of the teaching. The source of the teaching is Krishna, is the Messiah, is Lao Tzu, is the Buddha. Go to them. The apostles are good, but these apostles should be teaching people to go to them. Yeah.
The connection to the truth.
It's the connection to the truth. Because they were conduits too. All of our teachers, they didn't call themselves God for the most point. Everybody else did. But it's the connection to what was coming through them. The truth that has no gender.
Experience.
Akua.
Yeah.
Akua. Hawaiian. I not Akua, I'm an expression of Akua. But if you go come to me and ask me, teach me about Akua. Oh, no, I'm going to teach you how to learn and how to connect to Akua.
Right, we're vessels.
We're vessels. Yeah. We're just the va'a Hawaiian. Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, you.
I love that. That's good. That's really good.
Aye.
Well, Elijah, thank you for coming here, man. This is really good, and I appreciate your talk with us. Talk story with us. Before we go,
yes.
Could you tell us how to find you on social media, your website, as well as tell us about what we're drinking here?
Okay, so everything, kako, everything. Just go to my Instagram and TikTok at SON of Oahu. Just click the link in the bio. I have a link tree there that has access to our websites, each of our works and petitions for the people of Maui, our resources and projects that we are working on, because we are working on some big projects in music right now, to bring artists together to help our people in Maui. We're doing different projects to bring food into Maui from in Alaska. So, we're doing all kind of different stuff. On our website, a thing that I can speak about is our Pono Cellular course. If you are a person that is of Hawaii and you want to learn about Hawaii, and you're already living in Hawaii, or you have lived in Hawaii, I want to learn a little bit more about Hawaii, I have the Pono Cellular course. We usually introduce a cohort every month to every 2 months. I've had 200 students already, teaching them just like the foundational principles of Hawaii. It's the first course of its kind, teaching people that are living in Hawaii that don't know where to fit in, on how to fit in an integrous way.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And so that's on our site. It's been pretty good. I'm introducing a course pretty soon called Pilina Koko, to help our Kanaka that are displaced across the world to get access to a portal of content to help them to reinstate them in every aspect of what it means to be Hawaiian. So as they kind of live in the East Coast, West Coast, wherever, to help them connect. And as spoken about before, I'm introducing a tourism app pretty soon, in about 3 to 4 months.
Can't wait for that.
Yeah, bro.
That sounds really cool.
Dude, it's going to be so epic. And this is the Greens of Greatness, and the Greens of Greatness is...
it's great. Let me tell you guys.
It's called Greens of Greatness for
great.
a reason. Yeah, right here, Tachanga. Yeah, it is 15 superfoods, 8 different countries. This is the product I created a few years ago to help in our health illnesses here in Hawaii, because as we know, our statistics of Kanaka is the highest in every aspect and category of what it means to be ill in every way. And our, to be pono, it means to be ola, is to have health, to have mauli ola in our body. And that can begin in our physical body and our emotional bodies. And this helps with that. And so this is not on top of our website anymore. It's personal. So if you want to try Greens of Greatness, I do meetups, and you can reach out. And our Pure Mana is going to be in retail pretty soon. Our Pure Mana tincture, which I stay in the process of making right now. I'll bring one to you after, bro.
Oh, thank you.
So peace, love, and aloha to everybody. And may Akua and may our ancestors be connected to your ancestors and bring peace in you, in your ohana, in your communities, in the nation, and throughout the world. Because we know that people are going to come to Hawaii in search of world peace, because Hawaii has the key, and that key is aloha.
mahalo again for coming on here. I mean, yes, this is great, guys. I mean, seriously, you guys should try it. I'm serious. It's good. It's really good.
Yeah, you mahalo, bro.
So before we end off, we always do a cheers at the end.
Let's do it.
I noticed your glass is empty, so we gotta fill that up real quick. So my wife will go fill that up.
Bruh, if you get the soju, if you get sake,
do we have sake?
Hey, you can bring the soju or sake.
Okay.
I can do that with you. I'm down with that.
No, dirty
But
shots, bro.
in 1 week, I will be spending a few days. I haven't had a chance to be in Japan yet.
Oh, for real?
And so in 1 week, I'm going to Japan.
Oh, really?
In 1 week, I'm going to Japan.
Wow.
Yeah, bro. Good bottle of
How long are
wine.
you gonna be there?
For about 5 days.
That's still pretty good.
So, business trip, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it has a brother of mine who live up there. He's an expert investor and forex trader.
Okay.
And he's introducing it kind of here to Hawaii. He comes from here.
Okay.
He's an Ilani grad.
Oh, okay.
But he's introducing it here, and so his lead agent is going to be me over here.
Oh.
And so we're putting together a curriculum to help the Hawaiian community to actually get like a lot of education, like financial education on how to learn.
Oh, yeah.
And on
Super
how to
important.
become a trader and how to become a trader. So important.
Super important.
It's the biggest thing missing. So first, ba.
Hey, Kampai, how do you say cheers in Hawaiian?
Oh, hola.
Hola.
Life.
Woo. Hola.
Hola. Yo.